water vapor in clouds. And if you've got the right tech, you can, I'm absolutely confident, project up into the sky a ginormous spaceship and scare a lot of people who don't know about physics. But it's now your task to get this bullshit out of people's heads. So this is, falling into the alien category. But the alien category is much more insidious than that. It's not just sky projections onto the water vapor in the clouds. It's not just these standing waves that are like, oh, heavenly trumpets and shit like that. It will also be actual human beings. Actual human beings wearing masks. And I think this is what has happened with all the disinformation that got to the military intelligence agents. I think they've been taken to military bases, again, controlled environments, and then probably in slightly dark, environments, they have seen people wearing masks looking like aliens. And you always have to think, hang on, if it's aliens, if they've got the same kind of left-right symmetry as us on planet Earth, that's kind of curious. If they're the same scale as us, like the size of a human or taller, that's also really curious, because how big an organism becomes depends on gravity, essentially. Aliens from a planet which is smaller than ours should be bigger, and aliens from a planet with very high gravity pull should be a lot sturdier and smaller, because they have to, basically the organism has to grow and withstand gravity. That's again the laws of physics. So for someone to come from somewhere else and have exactly the right proportions like on planet Earth, looks like they're from fucking planet Earth. End of story. What are the chances? Zero. So, end. And then there's other ways to bullshit even agents, which is, for example, these, it looks like a hologram when you're at the airport. They've now got a very fine canvas and there's a projector below. And then you sometimes walk into an airport. For example, I think Heathrow and the London airports are one of them. And you have literally men and women standing there looking like a hologram in the middle of the room, explaining to you what you should do at the security queue, and what you should put in your bag and what not to take up on a plane and stuff like that. And again, if you look carefully, it's either a sheet of glass that's has got some reflective stuff, so it can be used as a projector, but you don't see the material that will then light up when it's projected upon. So it will be a sort of screen. And many other technologies like that, and with that you can bullshit people. So if they're in a controlled environment, there might be little aperture, and the projector might actually project on actual Hollywood style aliens of different shapes and so on. And these agents, maybe it's also done combined with drugs, so they are a bit in the head without noticing, and then this bullshit will be done to them. And they will literally believe it, because in a sense they have seen it with their own eyes. But what exactly they've seen with their own eyes takes a scientist to break down and analyze. So, and that's also why these aliens do not run around on the street, because then so many people who are not all on drugs will have a look at them and will start to decompose it. And then the final thing, which is what one particular disinformation agent was trying to sell to me, and he said, he met aliens at the military base, and it's always at military bases. Oh, well, that's curious. Or on tunnels, or in underground structures. I mean, the fact that these underground structures exist is a given, because since the earliest days, people have started building secret tunnels to keep a secret from other people, try to put people down there. I mean, the Fritzl case, of kidnapping people and putting them down as your personal sex slaves, it's just over and over, and has been there throughout. You can find medieval stories where people have done that in medieval ages, because it's again the psychopath thing, controlling another human being. He becomes your slave. Psychopaths love that and have done throughout the ages. So this kind of like underground bunkers, yes, they do exist. Systems analysis tells us that they should exist. History tells us that they should exist in large numbers. And you can capture people down there. You can experiment on people there. You can even, have women give birth to children down there, keep them confined throughout their entire life. So all of these things, I think mankind is going to slowly uncover over the coming years as we're pumping out information. But that's not a surprise. That's to be expected. Okay. And now this final thing about the aliens. So one of the aspects that I've heard about was, they look like us, but they seem kind of like, they've got this aura, so they seem kind of different and weird, but otherwise they're kind of like humans. They're not that unusual, but they are just really, really tall. Really, really tall. Okay. And this is quite fortunate. I mean, sometimes I can tell that my internet is actually controlled. You know, I mean, once I typed a search into a search engine, the one that I was using at the time quite a lot, and it returned literally 3 search results. And I thought, this can't be. So immediately I opened a new tab and I typed it. I used a search engine I've never used before, and I typed in the same search string, and it returned like the usual, you know, so many search results. It runs off the page and there are X number of pages. And I thought, oh, hang on, okay, what actually happened is that they control my browser, and they have this already set up that whatever search I do, they quickly flash up what they want me to see. And that has happened over and over, you know. And as you just invert it and you think, oh, that's the disinformation you want me to absorb and talk about. Now let's invert this straight away. But one of these things that I eventually got onto was the fact that, and you can look this up, if you, for example, there's this disease where certain hormones don't turn off or turn on in your development, and then these people become very, very tall. But that's, again, just a biological process. And if you're now talking about a large group of people who might have been experimented on at a military base or at an underground military base, if you end up with people who are very, very tall, all you should immediately think straight away is, hang on, it could be that systematically these hormones have been, switched off. And otherwise, these people are entirely normal. They are like us, but they are just extremely tall, and their size will lead to health problems and so on, but otherwise they're just like us, But if you notice that maybe some medical experiment has been done to you, and you as you know, if you're different, I mean, you already know that if you're gay, or if you've got a disability, or if you're just part of a minority, or you're different thinking in a group of other people who are all the same and not like you, your personality will change, because you'll start thinking from an early age about much deeper questions and question things. So that this group of very tall people exist, and they somehow seem a lot more aloof and have a different air about themselves, is not a freaking surprise. That's what I would expect. I would expect that one day we'll find this large group of people who have been kept hostage at military bases, has been kept hostage in underground bases. They have been experimented on. They will have bionic stuff implanted in them. They will have all these things done to them, and they will have disabilities or just, different hormonal developments, because they will have been controlled their entire life, and their entire development will have been controlled by fucked in the head scientists and doctors. So if you meet these people, please don't freak out. Think, hang on, it could be just that they have been experimented on. Do not kill them. Do not get into a fight. Do what humans always do. Just go up and say, hey, who are you? And tell me more about yourself. Okay? And actually, bit by bit, find out what the hell is going on. Because just like these like, it's absolutely awful, but just like these the hostages who've been kept in like basements by these psychopaths, like Fritzl was one of them, but there were many, many others, and not all of them have made it into the press. Well, just like those victims, will at some point be discovered and come into life, and they will have to get used to what reality actually looks like. With these people, we'll find them, and it is actually our task to find them. It is our task to find these underground bunkers and rescue these people, because systems analysis, forensic psychiatry, and history tells us that these places do exist. Victims in large numbers, we expect them to exist, and we have to help them, because they are under the control of totally fucked up psychopaths. But should you ever come across these people to think, oh my god, they're aliens, and kill them, or just be scared of them, would be the most idiotic thing that you can possibly do. Do you see? And at one day, I do expect that these people flee their captivity. I do expect these people to turn up and to start telling us what's happened to them. And then all I can say is, if we all have been, I'm sorry I'm using fuck a lot, but that's because I have lost patience with this entire topic a long time ago. But if you're then all so fucked up in the head that we think they're aliens, you can imagine what's going to happen. So please, all of us, let's keep our heads screwed on. Do not fall for this alien bullcrap, please. Always think, what's more likely, that suddenly aliens exist, or that I'm just being bullshitted by a psychopath? And frankly, by now, the vast majority of you either have lost their house because the psychopaths and the banks have bullshitted you, or in the UK you fell for payment protection insurance, or for payday lenders, or you've got a student loan, which is also a financial fraud, or you've bought derivatives, or derivatives are about to destroy your pension fund. Well, we all have been bullshitted by psychopaths, all of us. So it's not embarrassing, it's not something to be ashamed of that you have been bullshitted by psychopaths, because we all have, right? But what we now have to do is take the bullshit these psychopaths have served us and take it to pieces and throw it away, so that we can all, you know, get through the fog, find the fog machines and turn them off, you know, so that we can all see clearly. So I'm sorry, again, I said it's going to be a short video, but this is really important. So the perpetrators are not aliens. This story of, oh yeah, the aliens are terraforming our planet. No, it's a bunch of really big corporations run by people who are totally fucked in the head, you know, and are not really that clever. They are there because of other things, because they've got a control file on them, and they're maybe pedophiles, because they slept with the right person, and that applies to men, by the way, as much as women, you know, or because of other reasons, you know, or because their daddy was really rich, but these are not qualifications that actually predispose you to understanding an organization really well. So you're going to do a lot of bullshit, and if you do bullshit, most likely you're going to damage people, you're going to damage the environment, you're going to kill people, kill animals, plants, and do things that generate a lot of money but actually kill off absolutely everything around you. So that's not surprising, that's to be expected. It's not aliens terraforming, it is ginormous, you know, organizations out of control and corporations out of control messing up our planet. And that's the truth. It's not the aliens' fault, it's our fault. You know, and if you still believe that aliens exist, well, how about you fight the aliens and I fight the psychopaths, okay? And then we can also work together. So that's it for now. I hope it helps. Bye for now.